Hold on tight because the stock market has been a wild ride lately. We've seen some dizzying highs, followed by stomach-churning drops. It's enough to make even the most seasoned investor a little queasy. The big question on everyone's mind? Is this just a bumpy ride, or are we headed for a full-blown crash in 2024? Investors are understandably nervous. The memories of past crashes, like the dot-com bubble bursting and the 2008 financial crisis, are still fresh in their minds. Nobody wants to see their hard-earned money vanish overnight. The recent market corrections have definitely rattled some cages. We've seen the major indices, like the Dow Jones Industrial Average and the S&P 500, take some significant dips. Volatility is the name of the game right now, and it's got everyone on edge. So buckle up, because we're about to dive into the factors driving this market uncertainty and try to figure out what's in store for 2024. Let's be real, folks. There are some flashing red lights in our economy right now. It's like driving down the road and seeing warning signs everywhere. These signs are telling us to proceed with caution because there might be trouble ahead. First up, we've got rising interest rates. The Federal Reserve has been raising rates to combat inflation, which is like putting on the brakes to slow down the economy. But if they slam on the brakes too hard, it could send us into a recession. Next, we've got consumer spending slowing down. People are feeling the pinch of higher prices, so they're tightening their belts and cutting back on spending. That's bad news for businesses that rely on consumer spending to drive their profits. And let's not forget about the geopolitical tensions around the world. The war in Ukraine, tensions with China, and political instability in other regions are all adding fuel to the fire of uncertainty. These are just a few of the warning signs that have investors worried about a potential stock market crash in 2024. Let's break down some key factors that could make or break the market in 2024. First up, inflation. It's the monster under the bed that just won't go away. When prices keep rising, it eats away at our purchasing power and makes it harder for businesses to plan for the future. Next, we've got corporate earnings. These are the lifeblood of the stock market. When companies are making money hand over fist, their stock prices tend to go up. But if earnings start to disappoint, watch out below. We could see a wave of selling as investors head for the exits. And then there's investor sentiment, which is basically the mood of the market. When investors are feeling bullish, they're more likely to buy stocks, driving prices higher. But when they're feeling bearish, they tend to sell, which can send the market tumbling. Right now, investor sentiment is about as predictable as the weather in New York City. One minute it's sunny and optimistic, the next minute it's cloudy with a chance of panic selling. So, will the stock market crash in 2024? That's the million-dollar question, and nobody knows for sure. It's like trying to predict the outcome of a coin toss. There are experts on both sides of the debate, each with their own set of arguments. On the one hand, you've got the doomsayers predicting a major correction. They point to all the warning signs we've discussed, like rising interest rates, inflation, and geopolitical uncertainty. They argue that these factors are creating a perfect storm that could lead to a market crash. On the other hand, you've got the optimists who believe the market will weather the storm. They argue that the economy is still fundamentally sound and that corporate earnings remain strong. They point out that the market has a history of bouncing back from adversity. So who's right? Only time will tell. But one thing is for sure, the debate is heating up. Here's the deal, folks. The only certainty in the stock market is uncertainty itself. It's like trying to predict which way a leaf will fall on a windy day. There are just too many variables at play. We've got inflation still rearing its ugly head, interest rates on the rise, and geopolitical tensions simmering. It's enough to make anyone's head spin. And let's not forget about the unpredictable nature of, well, everything. But here's the good news. The market has a remarkable ability to surprise us. Just when we think we've got it all figured out, it throws us a curveball. That's why it's so important to stay informed, do your research, and be prepared for anything. All right, folks, it's time to hear from you. Do you think the stock market is on the brink of a crash in 2024? Are you battening down the hatches and bracing for impact? Or are you optimistic that the market will pull through? head over to my Twitter, @JimKramer, and let me know your thoughts. I want to hear from real people with real money on the line. Let's get a conversation going and see what the collective wisdom of the crowd has to say.